Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. This is the post-fight review for David Adeleye vs Mladen Manev, which was on the Joe Joyce Carlos Takam undercard in the UK. So first I'll start off by saying David Adeleye said in the lead up to this fight, and this was a comment that he made to BT, that after his last performance against Kamil Sokolowski, there was a lot of heavyweights that got an erection after seeing his performance, and he was out to prove the doubters wrong in this fight and show improvements. And after seeing this performance, some of those said heavyweights probably maintained those erections because it was not a good performance by David Adeleye. He certainly looked a bit one-paced, no jab, and the only thing really impressive about the performance was the ending. And even then, it was a bit of a circus scene because Mladen Manev, and we'll cut to that bit first, because very strange, seemingly backing off, indicating there was some sort of problem with his eye or some part of the, that region of his face. And he just backs up, looks like he's going to sort of like faint or wilt or something like that, like literally wilt. And then at that point, and I guess this whole sort of protect yourself at all times, David Adeleye, after having, observed the scene of the situation for a couple of seconds, was like, well, we're still fighting, and he launches into him. And at this point, wild sort of scenes break out with Mladen Manev trying to fight back as well. Because remembering this guy, Mladen Manev, who's a out-and-out journeyman. He had 9 losses heading into this fight. Recently fought Solomon Dakers, a very negative performance, and again, very negative in this fight. The most activity and aggression in the sort of about 10 or 15 seconds at the point that David Adeleye tried to pounce on him. So, yeah, and then all of a sudden after that, in the exchanges, you have Mladen Manev going down from a big uppercut. And then moments later, he's hit with after he beats a count, he's hit with a left body shot. And he is down, and the fight is all over. It's waved off. So this was a sort of situation, impressive finish, but not necessarily an impressive performance. And Adeleye said he was out to prove the critics wrong, but I'm not sure what he's been working on, because it was very like that performance against Kamil Sokolowski, where you had him not really utilizing the jab. He was pouring with it for the most part in this fight, or just not really using it at all. And there were several moments where he should have been throwing it and, utilizing it, basically controlling Manev with the jab. A guy in front of him, effectively a punch bag, who wasn't doing anything. He just had the high guard up for about 98% of the fight. And Adeleye could have had his way with him, done basically anything to him. But you had Adeleye throwing a lot of single one-off shots, not really sort of throwing in combination, not working the jab, not setting things up. There was good body work, I will give him that. That was pretty impressive through the fight. He was dedicating body shots, round after round, but it was just, again, another sort of underwhelming performance. Very sort of similar to the Sokolowski fight. I don't know if it's a gas tank issue that he doesn't want to work for a majority of the 3-minute rounds, but throwing one shot, admiring your work, or just looking for one big shot. I mean, even against guys like this, Manev was really in no trouble until that 4th round. David Adeleye wasn't really breaking him down to a large extent. It just sort of, it was underwhelming, and it's a red flag when you've got 3 rounds against a guy who's negative and basically doing nothing, and you're not doing enough, that you're not looking impressive. He said he wanted to impress. He said those heavyweights that got an erection after his last fight, they were going to, see what he was capable of doing, and I don't think we did. I mean, maybe that is what he is capable at this point. I mean, because it's clear, even after all this sort of the hype that's gone into David Adeleye, his big call-outs of wanting to fight Nathan Gorman, he's not ready for that fight. He's a project. He needs a lot more seasoning before he can sort of step up to any real level. Because based on that performance, Kamil Sokolowski, if they were to fight next, I think it would be the same sort of outcome. You would have a fight where Kamil Sokolowski is actually having a lot of success, winning rounds, and arguably he won that first fight. And I think Kamil Sokolowski would be filling those gaps in action that David Adeleye just seemingly can't. Because, he would throw a shot like a right hand, step back, and then there'd be nothing. You'd be like, where's the jab? Where's the follow-up? What are you doing? Just sort of stepping back, perusing the sort of situation, what's going on here, doing nothing. Kamil Sokolowski outworked him in that first fight. He would outwork him in a second fight. And I don't know why David Adeleye was reluctant or unwilling to let his hands go more in this fight. It was very curious. And the weird sort of scenes at the end, I mean, I guess it didn't sort of help the situation, but it was an impressive finish. That was a very good uppercut. He only threw the uppercut, less than a handful of times. And basically the 3 times or so that it landed, it was a very good punch for him. But overall, he gets the win. He advances to 7-0. But, there's questions. I think he's a project that they need to invest a lot more time and effort into, and probably needs to sort of keep fighting at a lower level, because he's clearly not ready for the sort of step-ups that others are sort of taking at this point. I mean, if you were to put him in with Fabio Wardley would probably box his socks off at this point. I think, and Nathan Gorman too. I mean, Gorman was justified after that Sokolowski fight and sort of returning fire and saying, look, you're not ready for me, mate, because I don't think he is. Nathan Gorman sometimes has been much maligned, obviously some of the conditioning issues as well, but he is a good boxer, and he would be outboxing David Adeleye and flummoxing him. Remembering, Nathan Gorman got injured in his fight with Kamil Sokolowski and basically controlled Sokolowski with one hand. David Adeleye couldn't control Sokolowski at all with 2 hands. So, yeah, it's fair to say I'm tempering expectations for David Adeleye at this point, because he needs more time, more development. I mean, he's got, there are some good things about that he does bring. Clearly, he's a powerful guy. But at a certain point, brute strength isn't going to get him through. He's got to have more nuance to his game. He's got to do more, work more, use that jab. He can't just sort of sit back and look for, big shots or go, okay, I'm just going to land this one perfect shot and we're going to end the night. Because ultimately, against this journeyman, he didn't look that impressive until the end. What did you make of this performance? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.